Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. We are continuing with our New Year's resolution hour, and we're going to be talking about how to grow your business. My next guest is Andrew Louder. He has a company. It's called louderco.com is his website. Louder is Louder, so louderco.com. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. You know, it's really cool to be here. I've watched your YouTube videos, listened to your podcast, so it feels great to be here.
Thanks. Well, you're amazing. Despite the gray hair, you're a very young man, and you're very successful in working with really small to mid-sized businesses. Tell us your journey. How did you end up becoming a business growth whisperer?
Sure. So first off, the gray hair is natural. It's just a hereditary gift, I suppose. But no. So I've been helping businesses through management consulting now for close to 11 years. I got my start over at KPMG, spent some time with EY, really helped a lot of large businesses like AT&T, Bank of America, Baylor Scott & White here in town. But I got to a point in my career where I really wanted to take on more meaningful, impactful opportunities. And so then I really started focusing more on companies that are a bit on the smaller side. You know, kind of people might define them as either lower mid-market or stage 2 companies that are size around 10 to 100 million or so in annual revenues. And so really taking the things that I learned at those big companies and applying them to these smaller ones. And, you know, it's a lot of fun because you really can make a big difference to their growth, to their people, to their way of lives just rather quickly. It's really great.
And you just sent me a PowerPoint, 5 critical tactics to make your business better in 2018. Let's go ahead and take the 5 one by one. Stop putting out fires and look up. What do you mean by that?
Sure. So, you know, I put this together for a couple of reasons. I hear a lot of the same questions in talking with people, and I really wanted to tackle some of those through this. You know, business leaders oftentimes when I go into a company, they're just so swamped by the day-to-day minutia, right? Just constantly putting out fires that they just aren't in the right mindset to think strategically about their company and find ways to grow that company. And so it's really just it's easier said than done in a lot of ways. Companies this size, you know, you oftentimes do lean on the CEO or the C-suite executives to do a lot of the heavy lifting. But what I encourage them to do is really take themselves out of that. Find people that they can entrust to take those kind of fires on, and really be intentional about thinking more strategically. Whether that's setting aside the time as a team to say, okay, maybe once a week for an hour, or a couple hours a week, whatever that may be. You know, let's pull out of those fires and start. How are we heading toward our mission, our vision, our goals? Really keeping track of those metrics and how to continue attaining those. So. Yeah, it's certainly one thing I love encouraging business leaders to do.
Okay, number 2, get to know your processes.
That's right. So I think oftentimes, too, these companies don't have the formalization of their processes down on paper, which is in some regards fine, but you want to once you get to a certain size, you want to be able to scale that out and really as you start hiring more people, just plug and play, and they take on those processes and continue growing the company. And so as a leader, you really want to know your processes enough to be dangerous, but everybody else needs to know them backwards and forwards. And so a couple ways to do that is really taking the time to document them, put them somewhere where people can access them. You can utilize them for training mechanisms. But also perhaps, one thing I've done at a few different companies, put in a process center of excellence. It's a person or actually a couple of people that can kind of be the owners of the processes. And anytime there's a change that needs to be made, they can ensure that the right communications are being made or the right impacting groups are communicated to and know how that change in process is going to change their life as well.
Somebody told me one time at McDonald's, fries are on the left, shakes are on the right. In every McDonald's you're ever going to see, and that's a process.
That's right.
Okay, number 3, make a big people decision.
Yeah, as I've shared this with a lot of different leaders, they all say this one's probably the biggest one. A lot of these companies they're growing, they're in growth mode, and the people that they started with are not the right people to get you where you're going to get going. And then also one thing I suggest here is Unfortunately, there are some employees that can be cancerous to your organization. These are people that spread rumors. These are people that bring other people down. They don't buy into the culture. Take a courageous leap and pull those people out of your organization. You'll notice a major change to the people that they've been impacting from negative to positive.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, number 4, make your customers happier.
That's right. So take a time to really assess, why did your customers buy from you? Why did they choose you over your competition? What are some ways that you can maybe just up your game that much further? Your competition is chasing you. You want to be able to, A, be ready for that, but B, continue taking those leaps and bounds to continue making those customers happier so they can come back and buy from you again. You often hear that phrase, it's more expensive to get a new customer than it is to retain a customer. And that's certainly true. And so whether that's through social media channels, just contacting them individually, whether that's sending out surveys, asking open-ended questions to get the right guidance that you're looking for. But, find a way to really interact with those customers, those that you sold to, those that you failed at selling to, and really try to learn from them so that you can apply things that will make them happier for 2018.
When I think about make your customers happier, I think about Southwest Airlines. I mean, for years they have been known as the little airline that could, and by many metrics they're actually larger than American Airlines or United.
They're incredible.
But they're still that little airline that could. That when I go to Love Field versus DFW International, you can actually feel a difference when you walk in the front door. Okay, number 5, grade and upgrade your technology.
Right. Oftentimes, as a company, you make investments in technology, and then you don't realize 2, 3, 4 years go by, and you're still on that old system, that old application, that old hardware. So really take some time to analyze how is our technology helping to enable our company. Is it the right thing right now? Again, thinking about your competition, they're either creating something new that's going to overlap you, or they're going with companies that may provide them a better application, better piece of software. And so really take some time to assess your technology needs against your mission, your vision, your goals. And then it will entail an investment in time and money to really, A, select the right technology to get you there, but B, implement it the right way. And so we'll take some patience as a business leader to get that done. But you really just need to have that awareness and foresight to make that investment.
My guest right now, Andrew Lauder. He is the president and CEO of louderco.com. Let's talk about people that you admire in business. I mean, you think about Mark Cuban's and Mark Zuckerberg's and
Right.
The head of Tesla, Elon Musk. I mean, who do you admire?
Yeah, you're naming all the ones I admire.
Really?
But there's one in particular. I read the biography of Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. It's called Shoe Dog, and it's an incredible book. I encourage everybody to read it. I think in today's society, we really think of companies that are successful as almost overnight successes, right? And boy, I loved hearing about his struggles, whether it's from how he kind of started out. He was a distributor of Japanese shoes, to designing his own and the fight for that, and then getting to finally that IPO. And there were so many moments in his life where he could have lost everything. But it was also a beautiful story, a very supportive family. Which, if I can, I'd love to give a shout out to my family as well.
Please.
Very supportive for allowing me to live out my dream. So thank you to my wife, my kids, my parents, everybody back home.
So tell me what it's like to engage you when you come into a company, small to mid-sized company for the first time. Are you sitting down with the CEO, or what do you do?
Definitely. So there's really 2 key phases that we take on. One is an assessment. The next is transforming the business. And we can't really transform the business before understanding what's working, what's not. And so that means, sitting down with the CEO, sitting down with the C-suite, sitting down with the directors, virtually just sitting down with anybody open and willing to talk to us, to really get an understand for how this business has come to be, how has it been successful, how is it now struggling, where are those key areas that we need to focus on. And then we really start devising a plan. A plan of attack, putting a roadmap in place to say, here are the things you need to do to address your strategy, your people, your technology, your process, even your customer. and laying out a really executable roadmap to where then we can roll up our sleeves and help get it done for them. So that could mean redesigning processes. It could be implementing those new technologies. It could be putting in a better hiring or recruiting process to make sure you have the right people to fit your culture, that sort of thing. You know, we're operations experts, if you want to call us that, and our clients even have termed us as their chief improvement officer. So
cool.
we're able to look at a company forwards and backwards and make those updates.
How often when you come into a company, does the CEO have blind spots that he or she just doesn't see what's wrong with the
They're
company?
everywhere, all the time. And, you know, it just happens. You know, you get pulled into so many different areas. Your company goes from, 50 employees to 250 employees to 500, and you just can't cover them all. And so, you really just have to ensure that you have the right team in place, so you have the right communication channels in place to ensure those blind spots are minimized.
And when you do your inventory of a business and interview the employees, and then you discover that the problem is the CEO himself or herself.
Now, that's a tricky situation.
And this is the person who's signing your check.
Yeah.
How do you have that conversation?
It's an open, honest dialogue. That's why we're there. And if it's an opportunity to coach that CEO and they're open to listen, then that's one way to do it. If they're not willing to listen, then there's no real opportunity to impact or transform that business. And so we'll either walk ourselves out or get walked out.
Okay. So without getting into politics,
Sure.
If Donald Trump hired you to be his personal advisor, what would you tell him?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because he's
so
kind
many
of
places to go there.
trying to run the White House the way he ran his companies, isn't he?
And you know what? For better or worse, he came in saying he's going to do things differently, and that's what he's doing.
Right.
And whether we like to admit that that's right or wrong, we don't know. I guess only time and history will tell. But that's what he's doing. It's ruffling some feathers, and frankly, in a lot of ways, that's how things transform. That's how things change. Not everybody wanted a car. When Henry Ford went out and designed the car, they wanted a faster or stronger horses, right? And so it's an uphill battle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, wonderful segment. Thank you for
thank you for
on,
having me, Jeff.
We'll absolutely have
Pleasure.
you back again. When we come back, we're going to be talking to an executive coach who's helping take leadership skills to the next level. That's just ahead on the Jeff Crilley Show.
You're listening to the Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.